In this video, you will draw a two-point perspective of a bedroom. Moving from a one-point perspective to a two-point perspective, we move from a single vanishing point to two vanishing points. So we're basing our sketch on this image from a model home where basically the view is facing a corner. So that's the difference between a one-point perspective, which is usually just facing straight on a wall. This is the viewer is looking into the corner. And because of this, you are more easily able to see two walls. So in this example, all of the lines from this will move to the right vanishing point, and all of the lines from this wall on this side will move to the left vanishing point. So this is what we'll work on today. We will begin with the grid. If you don't want to work directly on the grid, you can just go ahead and put a piece of marker or tracing paper over the grid or use a light box. That works as well. For this exercise, I went ahead and used a highlighter to place the nightstands and the base of the bed and the bench. So beginning with your two-point perspective grid, we have a 9-foot ceiling height that we are going to raise to 10 feet. Basically, to raise your ceiling height, we have our back wall line that goes from 0, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 feet, 5 feet, which is right on the horizon line, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are all equal spacing. So to simply raise your ceiling 1 foot to 10 feet, whatever that equal spacing is, you raise that up. So I raised it up 1 foot, and you can see that from that vanishing point where I raised it 1 foot, I can go over each way. Now from the left vanishing point where I raised it a foot, so there you can see that now my back wall has been raised to 9 feet to 10 feet. So where you're going to make your marks. So we're going to place the bed right on the wall, and then this will be our window and door wall. So beginning at the vanishing point. So right there is right where the vanishing point falls on the horizon line, and if you go straight down, that's where we're going to put the footprint for our nightstand. We're going to make our nightstand 2 squares or 2 feet deep by 3 feet. We're then going to leave 1 foot spacing. That is a lot in an actual interior. It would probably be more like 6 inches or 8 inches, but for a drawing that looks nice to have a 12-inch spacing, so we're going to do that there. And then you're going to draw the footprint for your bed. Your bed footprint is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a California king bed, across and a little deeper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So go ahead and place your footprint for the base of your bed. And then typically benches are 18 to 20 inches. We're just going to make it 24 inches just so that it fits nicely in the grid. So it's going to be 2 feet deep by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. So a really long nightstand, a bench, which is the same length as the bed. Then you will skip a 12-inch space again and before placing your second nightstand, which is 1, 2 feet deep by 1, 2, 3 feet across. So next we're going to start blocking out the heights of the furnishings. You can do that next, or you can go ahead and place in your windows. So let's just see here. Maybe I'll go ahead and place some windows in. So starting at the back wall, go over 1, 2, 3 feet. Go up 1, 2, 3 feet. That's going to be the bottom of your window. And we're going to make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by high. So we have a 3 foot by 5 feet. Let's just make it plus 6 inches. Let's make it a little higher there. There's my first window. And then I'm going to skip a square, so 12 inches. And I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 5 foot sliding door. There. And go ahead and skip a foot again to place your next 3 foot window. It looks like in the drawing that there's another window above each of these, which we can do. Also, maybe I should have kept these at, header height 7 feet, so I could have made a little bigger window, but I can fix that later. So basically you should see your back wall, which is going to have some windows and a door, and now we'll start blocking in the furniture. I would start with the nightstand, which is starting from the back wall. So there's your 4 corners of the nightstand. And what I've had you do in the past for 1 point perspective, I can have you do again. You can place vertical lines up. And so I'm going to start with the back of the nightstand, which is already on the grid. And I'm going to go up 1 feet, 2 feet, and 2.5 feet. So 2 feet, 6 inches, or 30-inch high nightstand. Then I'm going to go from that point, so here's my vanishing point, I'm going to come through, and where it hits that front vertical line, I have the front corner and then the next point of my nightstand, and from where that point hits the vertical line, I go through the vanishing point, all the way over, and I've formed my nightstand. So you've done this already when you worked on your grid, when you created your own grid and you created some boxes, right? You've done this already. So now I have a 2 feet deep by 32-inch high, or 30-inch high, 2 feet 6 inch nightstand. So there's the points that you've created already. You can just follow the grid along the grid line, or you can come back from the vanishing point, and that's right here. So there's the bottom. You can go through the vanishing point here to enclose the back. And it's just a little funky, this corner edge. This is where we're going to cut it off, where you can make your nightstand a little bigger. It's right on that vanishing point, but so it actually is a straight line down and you don't see the size of your nightstand. The second nightstand will follow the same lines across, and you'll follow the same process to complete the second nightstand. I'm not going to block that in yet because I'm going to work on the bed. So the mattress height of your bed is 1 foot 2 feet. To make it easy, you can have your base right there at 1 foot, and then your mattress height at 24 inches from the finished floor. So like you've done in the past, go ahead in the 4 corners of your mattress, go ahead and draw vertical lines. Up. Right here. Up. There already is a vertical line because your headboard is going to hit the back. So you've gone up 1, 2. That's going to be the top of your mattress. So from your dot 2 feet up through the vanishing point, draw a line, and where it hits your vertical line, there's the foot of your bed. Go ahead from this 12 inches up through the vanishing point to the vertical line. So now you have a bed skirt or base of your bed, plus your mattress, and there. So we can draw those in so that you can see them. Great. So next, let's find the height of your headboard. So we have 1, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet and a half is 5 feet 6 inches. That's going to be the height of your headboard. From 5 feet 6 inches, we're going to go to the vanishing point on the right, and where this vertical line comes up here to make that headboard the same height on both sides, through the vanishing point, across the top, we'll do this. So now let's enclose the foot of the bed. So I drew a vertical line here, and I drew a vertical line in the right corner of the bed. And now when I go through the vanishing point, from this point of the bed, we want it to be the same height on the other side, through the vanishing point, I go over, and where it hits the vertical line, I've made the top of my bed. And now, since all things work out lovely in perspective, from this corner back to the vertical line, we enclose the top of the bed. I'll make that a little thicker so you can see the top of the bed. It also is going to go back here where there's pillows. And I'll just make that a little lighter because I want to add some pillows. So now hopefully you can see a nightstand and the top of the bed. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill in the nightstand. I drew vertical lines from the front corners of the nightstand. From the back corner of the nightstand, I went up 2 feet 6 inches. And now I'm going to repeat my steps, 2 feet 6 inches from the left vanishing point where it hits the vertical line. I'm going to come down. from that vanishing point. Over and down. So this is just a cube, you've done this already. And now enclose the back. And I'm not going to be very heavy-handed with my line in the back because I eventually want to put a lamp and some accessories on that table. So all's good, right? All is good. And next we're going to draw the bench. So like we've done with other cubes or working with perspective, draw vertical lines up from the front corners. And so now I want to make, so seat height is 18 inches. You notice in this class I give you dimensions because after a while you know standard dimensions of certain things. So our seat is at 18 inches. So I'm going to follow along to the edge that the bench is on. And I'm going to follow along and I'm going to go up 1.5 feet, which is 18 inches. And I'm going to go from that 18 inches through the vanishing point to find the top of my bench. So where the top of my bench hits my vertical line at 18 inches, I've begun to establish my bench. Let's do the front of the bench. So I have a vertical line here, or I can go to the back, which I already have a vertical line. So from this point, through the right vanishing point, where we hit the vertical line, so this is almost just like maybe 2.5 cubes across, where it hits the vertical line. I've now created, right, the front of my bench. Just making this some thicker so that you can see it. And now just like I went to the left vanishing point here, I want to go to the left vanishing point here, right? Where it hits the vertical line, I stop. And all points should join. So now from the right vanishing point, I'm going back and everything lines up. So if yours aren't lining up, then something's wrong because perspective works. Perspective works. So that should be your footprint for the bed, the bench, the nightstands, and the windows. So now you've noticed that I put an X through each of my nightstands to find center, and I'm going to draw in a lamp, maybe a decorative ball, and I'm going to do one here. And you want your tops and bottoms of your lampshades to match. So let me get a longer straight edge. So they should match. The tops of each should be at the same height, and if they're the same lamp, that is, and the bottom should be the same. This a little more pronounced so that I can trace it easier when I'm done. So next I found the center of my bed, and I was able to use the grid behind to add some tufting. Finding the center of the bed, I'm able to add some Euroshams. Some standard shams. Maybe I want to put a turn down up here to the right vanishing point and then straight down. I'm not going to quite do the same bench, but I could. The bench has these returns and then it has a wood top. So I know that my top should have some thickness. I can cross or measure the top of my bench to find the intersection. And then when I do my details, I'll go back to the right vanishing point and put some slats on the top. Just going to pronounce my vanishing points a little more so that when I go to retrace, I can see them better. I'm going to put a drawer on the top of my nightstand. They should be the same height on both sides. I could put an X through that to find middle or eyeball it. Alright, so now I should be able to see everything. I'm going to make the suggestion that there's a dresser here. So we have a dresser, you can put in some draperies, you can put this landing outside. So I'm going to make the suggestion of a dresser. And now if you can see here, I pulled this out and I actually placed it right where it's supposed to be. But for the sake of time, you can come down to 2 feet from the window and just draw a line there. Go back to your vanishing point. This is just kind of a cool way to finish an image. So I'm not going to get too detailed, but this is how I'm going to finish that corner. It's just kind of giving the illusion of the dresser. Putting in my and then I'll draw in my windows above. I can do 2 feet, 6 inches to find the half. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over, so 3 would be the center. There's the slider. So what I noticed from some of your last exercises is if you're bringing out the deck outside, now that deck will follow those same lines of perspective. Okay, they'll follow those same, so like the floor continues and that same plane continues. So if you want to bring out your deck, go ahead and pull out some lines. Determine where the floor is, go to the left vanishing point. And if you want to make a deck, the deck looks like it's right here. So here's my deck. And if I want to make rails, when I look at the sketch, falls about right here on the door. And so you can draw some railing in. So I think that's nice just to have a little something outside the back. So I'm not going to go ahead and draw the furniture, but you can see here we have a little bit of a landing and then some rails. You can add draperies on either side if you would like. That could be nice. You can add some more details. I'm going to finish up with the nightstand. I'll add a little more details. Maybe I want an area rug instead of just carpeting. You can play around with that. I knew that my bed is 8 feet deep, and if I want to, place a chandelier right above the bed, I'm going to find the center of the bed, which is here, and then I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to find kind of that mark where I want to place a chandelier. In the next lesson, I'm going to take my grid that I've blocked out the furniture, and I'm going to add a little more detail, and I'm going to do my finished line drawing.